Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be reviewing a book that I've been really excited to talk to you guys about. It's called Serpent Dove by Shelby Mahurin. So Serpent Dove follows Lou, who's a witch who has been forced to flee her coven and go into hiding for unknown reasons at the beginning of the book. It also follows Reed, who is a chasseur, which is basically a witch hunter that's sworn to and part of the church. So I want to start off with saying that I almost DNF'd this book at 75 pages. And I think it was a couple different reasons for me. One, I feel like that witches versus like the old school Catholic Christian church concept is kind of overdone. Like I've just seen it so many times, and I love witches. I love witch books. So I was so excited when I heard that this was about witches, and I just wanted it to be something more, I don't know, more than that. Like I wanted more than just the usual witch versus church kind of conflict. And this is the premise of the book. So that's, that's not the book's fault. The other thing that kind of threw me a little bit was there's just so many French words, from right from the beginning. It's everything has French names, and she uses French terms for a lot of things, which, looking back and real understanding that it was supposed to be kind of set in pseudo fantasy France, it makes sense. It just felt a little overwhelming at first when trying to like pronounce all this and keep up with all of the different stuff that was going on. And those things, and it just kind of building slowly at first, almost made me put the book down. And I'm really glad I didn't, because it gets so much better. So, first I want to talk about Lou. Lou is short for Louise. She's one of the two main characters in the book, and the book switches points of view back and forth between her and Reed, the other main character. So Lou is this super funny, clever, very vulgar, very interesting character. She's very refreshing and just fun, and I don't know. I feel like in a lot of ways Lou is kind of like my spirit animal. She uses her sarcasm and her cleverness as kind of like an armor to shield herself from the outside world, and she's not afraid to say or do anything. That shock and awe value is something that she uses to her advantage a lot. And I just really liked her as a character. She's the type of female protagonist that I really, really enjoy reading. And then there was Reed. Reed, at first, I had already decided that I wasn't going to like. He was this big macho muscle man who, is this big fighter, witch hunter guy. He's also, deeply religious and very prejudiced because of that. And just almost comes off as very closed-minded and insecure at first, and that was something that I just was automatically put off by. But as the book progresses, he's kind of revealed to be almost this kind of gentle giant, and we find out that he really likes reading and likes reading this romance novel that he really loves, and I thought that was a really cool spin on it. And also just getting to see how conflicted he was, getting to see him process through this idea of, is the church right? And do I believe these things because I was raised and taught to believe them, or do I believe them because they're actually what's real and what's true? And getting to go through that conflict with him in first person from his point of view definitely made him much more likable and made me really love him by the end of the books. I think Shelby Mahurin was really smart here. I think if she had done the book completely from Lou's perspective, or if it had been third person and we hadn't gotten to be in his head like that I probably wouldn't feel the way that I do about him. I think I still, even after the whole book, would not like him nearly as much as I do if I couldn't have been in his head. So next I want to talk about the magic system in this book. This was something that I thought was really neat. There are some aspects to it that are a little, what you expect of witch books. There are two types of witches, at least that we've been introduced to so far in the book. And I'm not even gonna try to pronounce the French names for them. They do have French names. I'm just gonna call them the red witches and the white witches. So the red witches are kind of a basic blood magic. They use their blood, and then that fuels their magic, or also I think they can use other people's blood as well. There wasn't a whole lot of time spent clarifying their magic because it wasn't as important to the storyline. But the really neat thing to me was the White Witches. So the White Witches use a type of magic that is almost like patterns that they see. And she writes about it, Mahurin writes about it as kind of gold cords that extend and form shapes and patterns that they have to kind of unweave in order to make their magic work. And a big part of that is that their magic comes with a price. So sometimes it's really literal, like literal eye for an eye type of stuff. And then sometimes it's much more abstract and conceptual than that. And I just thought that was kind of neat. That's not something I've seen done a ton before, and I just really liked that. The other thing that I really love that I wanted to talk a little bit about is this idea that she has that magic has a smell. So it makes it cool because it gives magic a little bit of a disadvantage in a world where magic normally would be the bigger advantage over everything else. It means that the chasseurs can kind of track these witches by the smell of magic they leave in their wake. And I just thought that was a really cool way to give it a disadvantage, to make it feel like, you know, both sides had a fighting chance, and then it wasn't just like, oh, we're witches and we have magic and we're just gonna automatically always win. I just thought that was a clever spin on that. So as far as the plot twist in this book goes, without giving any spoilers away, I did feel like they were pretty predictable. The couple of the main things I guessed from like the very beginning. And I don't know if it was meant to be super suspenseful necessarily. I think the book was really a lot more about their characters and their inner struggles and their inner journey than it was about the overarching plotline, but they were pretty predictable for me. There was nothing that was shocking to me at all. So overall, I rated this book 4 stars. It was fun and like action-packed and good paced, other than those first 75 pages. And I really enjoyed the characters overall. All the secondary characters were really interesting world, interesting magic system. And I'm definitely excited to read the second book. It is already out. It's called Blood and Honey. And I definitely will be picking it up. Well, if you're still here, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed my review of Serpent and Dove. And like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you next time. Bye!